Ladies and gentlemen, before we start off with the video, I want to remind everybody the content creator program is always coming to an end for season 15. So make sure you hit that support button so I can send you guys some codes. Guys, codes are coming your way very, very soon. We got about 3 more probably on the way with Meri being released and some new content. We are number 2 right now in the content creator ranking. I want to say big shout out to my top 10, BW Panda 11. Thank you so much again for being number 1. Mr. Joe Star Makuja, Bad Rasta IG 3906 3306, my legend J Stowe, Rise Nell, Ryan 3400, and Spooge. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting. I love you guys. Thank you so much. All the way down to the last 2,960. All right, guys, let's talk about what you're all here for. Let's get into the actual results of Meri, the new unit that just got released. Now, before I do this, guys, I just want to let everybody know it did take me 560 summons on my pay to win to get her, and that is a ludicrously bad number. So just so everyone's aware, I had no luck, and on my free to play, I pretty much used all of my currencies to try to get her. And the reason why I did that is because she is in fact going to be worth it and worthwhile going for. And we're going to show you guys all the numbers you need to know and everything that comes along with using her as a unit. So first off, let's go ahead with the numbers. Okay, so you guys can see here. So first thing you need to know, 8-piece infamy worked the best for her. From a stat perspective, we did the following. Because it is Ant Queen, guys, don't expect the numbers to look anything like Dark. Ant Queen is a complete different story, a much harder, more RNG based guild boss. So a lot of our results are not going to look like Dark. So if this was the same team was going to go against the statues, I feel like they would be very comparable to Dark and Fire. But because we don't have those bosses around right now, we have no choice but to deal with the Ant Queen. So let's talk about Meri. 8-piece infamy worked really, really well for her. We did 3 different results, and then we did multiple tests the entire time just to try to get you guys some numbers. So you guys can see the stats here are going to be almost 100k HP. By the end of it all, she was at 100k. We did 50% crit at 11k. We did 181% crit damage. The more important thing here is going to be damage increase, which is about 38%, and then we get 39% defense pen, which is useless in this fight because Ant Queen honestly has no defense, so that stat is pretty nullified and useless. So you want to try to avoid that and stack more into crit damage and damage increase. Damage increase as high as you can possibly go, obviously, right? All right, so how do we do this? What do we cover? Let's go over every single thing that matters here. First off, the results. So A1 is where we started, not A0. At A1, you can see everyone's damage is at 27, 13, 7.7, 7.5, and then 5.13. Specifically, Meri did 5.13 at A1. So we then went ahead and her weapon is A5, by the way, here. We advanced her over to A3 to test out how A3 works. You can literally see almost a 5 billion damage increase for her, and everyone else's damage, well, not everyone else's, some people's damage went up, but her damage substantially went up by 5 billion. Now, we said, okay, you know what? Let's take that one more time and multiply it over to A5 and see what happens with A5. Now, because of the extra buff she provides, everybody just got better, right? You guys can see with Mei Lin, for an example, she did 6.16, 6.22, but at A5, she did 8.23. Same thing with Meri. She went from 5 to 10 to 15. So it's almost a 5 billion incremental increase with each advancement. So it's very, very important, guys, to try to push that, because remember, infusers are not only are they good at damage dealing and buffing, but they're also obviously there to infuse. So with her, you're getting the best of all 3 worlds. And what they've done with the game that's really, really unique now is they've taken away the break bar aspect when there's a boss that goes through break. And a lot of these bosses without break bar, when they have that yellow bar that pops up, now you can do the the accumulation of overload, or you can do a break. One or the other, both works though, right? So or you can do both. So it's kind of a cool feature now because it makes overload that much more important now, and it makes these infusers that much more powerful. So they're bringing a lot more to the table now than before. So you guys can see here, also with A5, Alicia's damage went up, and so did Cha's damage, right? We went from 25, 27 from Cha to 32. Alicia went from 13 to 17 to 25. So really, really big differences there. And yes, Freerin went up as well. Sarin went up, and even Mei Lin went up. All right, so those were the results at A5. So we kept her at A5, we pushed her weapon to A7, and then we got some different results. Now, I'm going to show you guys something real quick here that I think everybody should know, and I think it's an important one. So let me just quickly find this result for you guys, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, you guys can see me up there. I'm down here, the one talking. So here's what I want to show you guys. These are some pretty important stats that you need to know about. So first off, in terms of the debuffs that she and Alicia provide together now, you guys can see there's 70 stacks of it, right? And this is important to note because you can get up to, I think, 10 stacks of this total of, I think, 100. And that is the new stacking that she does called the... what's it starts with a W. I forgot what it's called. Either way, you want to get as many of those as you can, right? So those stacks will essentially buff her damage up on the opponent, on the boss, and the more of those you get, the better damage you'll pull out. So it's very important to make sure that stays as high as possible. And the beauty of having Meri together with Alicia is they both can stack those together, making it very, very quick to get those up to max and then to be able to multiply. Now, it only for some reason ever stacked to 70. It said it can stack 10 times, and I'm not sure why it stops at 70 instead of 100. I don't know if that was a problem throughout the fight, but I noticed that the entire, maybe I misread it, or maybe there's a translation error or whatever the case may be. It is 3 in the morning right now. So I'll take a look at that again, and we'll talk more about the perfect builds for Meri. But you can see there, it stays at 70. It never goes higher than that. So, and it's pretty much there to amplify the damage output that you do with both Meri as well as Alicia. So that's important to have them on the team. So the teams that we used that had the best results were Team 1 was with Meri, Mei-Lin, and Alicia. And then Team 2 was with Cha, Frieren, and who was the last person that we had on there? Hold on. I'm just trying to see who the last person was. Again, let me see my results here. The best results were these ones right here. Hold on. It's right there. Okay, right here. Yeah. So it was Frieren. Oh, Soren. Soren was the last one. Sorry, that's what it was. So the Team 2 was Cha, Soren, and Frieren. Team 1 was Meri, Alicia, and Mei-Lin. That seemed to have worked out the best in terms of results. And everybody had pretty good damage across the board from that place. And you guys can see with Alicia's buff, she's doing insane amounts of damage, right? So like from here, she did 35 billion on her own. Cha did 43. Meri did 13. This was, I think, Rage 107. So this one did the best one. And I'm finding that the best thing to do with Alicia is just to make sure her MP is high enough. So you just want to give her enough MP consumption reduction that she continues doing that. So that was the best team setup. It was Team 1 was Alicia, Mei-Lin, and Meri. Team 2 was Cha, Frieren with Soren. That was the best setup. Okay, now we did another test, of course, to see how important is an infuser versus not having an infuser. And yes, we did test Shuha, by the way. Shuha did not do as well as Alicia. At least mine didn't. But we did a couple different tests without an infuser, and the numbers looked completely different, of course, and you can imagine that. So you can see here without an infuser, the one on the far left. So Cha did 23 billion versus 43. Shuha was in there for 9 with the infuser. She did about 22. Alicia went from 35 to 8. Frieren went from 13 to 5. Soren went from 11 to 4. Mei-Lin went from 7.4 or 745 million to 198. So without Meri and the team, everyone's damage just plummeted. And not to mention, I actually even tried to put Sun Jinu as an infuser by giving him the brand new water skills. He only increases infusion by 10%, guys. It's very, very minuscule, and it's very tiny. So how important is she to the water team? I think the results speak for themselves, right? You guys can see what the numbers look like. And it's very important to note that these numbers are being tested. We're tested for about 3 hours. So we know that she brings a massive impact. And this just goes without saying, we've been saying this all along, that infusers are the future of the game. So you're going to have to get used to it, guys. Now it's free to play. I did summon, got A0. I'm broke again. I want to at least get it to A1, which I will try to do at least. And then from there, it's saving mode. So I will not be able to push for A5, but that's why black tickets are there. And eventually when she goes into custom tickets, we'll be hopefully able to get more of her from that section as well. So make sure you are saving up if you plan to get a good water team. All right, folks, there you guys have it. That is what I can provide you. I'll give you a full, thorough guide on Meri gear, artifacts, cores, etc. After this, I got to get some sleep though. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.